Hi, welcome to a run through of all my comics, well, my non-US average size comics. So I'm just going to run through them. This one's, it's terrific, and it is. This was from 1967, 9p. 9p it cost, came with a transfer. Unfortunately, no transfer now. But it did include the Avengers, obviously Iron Man and Doctor Strange. So it's all in black and white, great stories. Also, terrific news. Of course, it's got letters page. I always love the fact they include that. It was first issue, so that's pretty clever. Also, you can see the transfer there. Quite often they would have adverts for ice creams and all those sort of things. But in the case of this one, it's got a pin up at the back of Submariner. Oh, next issue, the Pocket Missile Launcher. Free next week. I remember getting that as well. And of course, you've got the classic Avengers story, Radioactive Man, Melterer, etc. And the Zemu, of course, is in there as well. This one is part of the Power Comics and Power Comics, I should say, which is, of course, matches this. Pow and Wham. I love this one. Lovely black and white. Attack of the Evil FF, the Frightful Four. Now, the thing is, they also include other stories. So you had the Cloak as well. Again, black and white, of course. But they often messed around with them so much. They really played around with the format. I mean, sometimes actually quite effective. Near enough made a virtually a new comic sometimes, just by doing it in very unusual panels that they added also other pictures from something else. They would sort of include a picture, suddenly just random pictures. This one, great superhero saga start today. Which of course sort of makes you feel, oh, this must be the first issue. Now, I don't know if it was, if 58 had 57, etc. had other stories. No, I don't know. This one is 79, so maybe it did, I don't know. But it's just the way they sort of suggest that, but just a new saga, obviously. Spider-Man goes mad. I'm not certain that would be a great one to actually start with. That was the first issue where they just went, Spider-Man goes mad, because people say, who's Spider-Man, kind of thing. And you can see the way the ink's gone through as well. But they messed around with so much. Really terrible. Absolutely. The Two Faces of Janus. And Experiment X. Well, they're great little stories. This one's Battles the Super Apes. Poor old Red Ghost, completely ignored. Can't blame him. Actually, the Red Ghost character was just... The Super Apes should have been the main characters. Pow and Wham. Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, Experiment X, Inside. This is obviously 63. And again, this is what year? 1968. 1968. Sammy Shrink as well. And again, this is what I mean about messing around with. Look at I mean, really, literally a completely new comic. I mean, Ditko's completely modified, but still very good. This was the first one. Well, for me anyway. Fantastic. 18th February 1967, #1. Came with a lovely, there you can see this banner, that you could, pennant, as it says here, or wallet. Pendant wallet, I'm not certain whatever it was, but it had the X-Men, Thor, and Iron Man there. And of course, it was the origin stories. Brilliant again. Black and white. No poster on the back, but it did have these pennants, which is good. As well, it had the Missing Link as well. They recently brought out the Missing Link book. There's a Johnny Future book, and they've got all those. But you've also got, they're fantastic, the Hulk in Smash. I think Daredevil was in Smash later on as well. The Thing in Wham, Spider-Man in Power. I think other characters turned up in... They had a weird mix of stories. And of course, we had the Alan Class ones, black and white ones. Actually, I haven't included those. I should have included those, I suppose, in this selection. Sort of matches these as well. But still, too late now. Fantastic. Listen, I just got this one. One, because I really love the story. See the new Iron Man. And the things I like about this, it's got a brilliant Magneto on the back. Love that one. Mr. Dole. Now, I don't know if he was actually called Mr. Dole or Mr. Payne. I got a confusion. But the thing is, look at that. I mean, I think that's really very well done. Obviously, that wasn't coloured by, that was coloured by some kid, obviously, at the time. Suddenly thought, you know what, I'm going to quickly create. So, obviously, you got it from the front cover as well. You knew exactly the colours, and why not? But it's also got, obviously, the X-Men in here. Don't know which story this was. Oh, this is the one with Submariner. Good old Submariner and Magneto. Real good story. Future Tense. Now, this was an unusual one. This had Seeker 3000, which is good. And it also had Star-Lord, Paladin. So it was a real mix of stories. Picked this up in Herne Hill. I'll pop down there. Great little story. There's Paladin there. Don't know where the Seeker is. Oh, Star-Lord. There's got old Star-Lord there. Now, is that the... I don't know. No. Still. Now, I've got a load of Titans. I'm obviously not going to go through all of them, but I'm just going to quickly show you Titans. This was the weird format. They came out with this weird format. It had Captain Marvel and Captain America. hang on. Don't remember Captain America looking like that, but obviously a slight. Anyway, Nick Fury there, a duel to the death. And another one here. This one's Titans, obviously Fantastic Four in this one. The stories have gone quite a way up now. I think that was about issue 95, Fantastic Four in the US. But you had that storyline there. Now, I love the way they did it because they always did it this format, where you had a page, then you had another page. It was still really sharp, really quite decent. Now, not as sharp as the other ones. I must admit, this is the one thing I like about UK comics. Sometimes, not all, sometimes I don't know how they got the material to actually produce, because sometimes it's really sharp, the best quality. Because, of course, these magazines are quite big as well. So you've got here Spider-Man and Titans. They changed the names all over the place. And this one, actually, I just noticed, got a lovely Merry Christmas face, obviously Captain Britain. I wonder if they included that one in the Captain Britain Omnibus collection. Should have done, shouldn't they? From the British Bullpen. Pet Shop Boys, of course, as well. A relatively famous. Now, Titans, the Sensational Submariner. At least they got that right this time. I didn't call him Captain America. There's Captain America. They got that one right this time. But again, he's got some great little stories all the way through Submariner there. And also you've got, actually, it's nice because they even included a cover there. I think that was just more a look in the pages of Titans for the further adventures. That's great. And there's another one. That's the Shocker one. Return of the Shocker. The Deadly Threat. One of my least favourite stories. I think that was Monocle or something, the character. Really terrible World War III one. Well, that was a good one. The Adaptoid. Captain America. But like I said, there was lots of other stories. So you had here The Maddening Mystery of the Inconceivable Adaptoid. He loved those sort of titles. That was just great. And also, I think, like Captain Marvel, all of his characters, some really oddball, like Mole Man and Tyrannus there with the X-Men story. Another X-Men story in Titans. Spider-Man and Titans. They kept on changing there. The Titans, the Fantastic Four, of course, that's classic scroll story. Oh, that was the issue 100 one. Obviously not, that wasn't issue 100, that was number 43 at 9p. This one again, Sensational Adventure. Oh, that's the Adaptoid again. I don't know which Adaptoid story that was. Oh, that was that one. You can see again, it's over. And it was just great because you could actually have all the story. Most of the story was so much better than previously, I always felt. When something was all just cut off, you had to wait next week. And I was always impatient. Not like now, where most of the stories are well known. The Juggernaut, the Titans one. I don't know why I've got so many of these. I picked a lot of these up at comic conventions and various other things. So they often have piles of them for about like £1 or something, and or 50p. And then you just, I think I have a few of those. Now this is one, like the Avengers and the Savage Lord of Conan. They combined it. This was a really great one. I think this is, no, see, it's got issue 100 on the front cover. It's just slightly confusing because it's not 100 inside. You've actually got this one, which I think is one of the, yes, Puppet Master story. The good old Puppet Master story, and Goliath there. I mean, the thing is, I'm just looking, see, it's got some, but here you've got Conan. I mean, I think the artwork is really, really, you probably can't see it on this video, but it's really sharp. I love it. I love these ones. Absolutely. Not all. Like I say, sometimes it just doesn't seem to be that, but most you sort of go in and think, wow, that is really, really good. And sometimes it's slightly got damage to it as well. Just noticed a lovely hole there. Someone had obviously been smoking at that point. Looks like, anyway. So you've got there, obviously Thor, that's Barry Windsor Smith, or Barry Smith then. And of course you've got this one as well. Again, like I say, not all of them were really, that one looks quite a dark and sort of edge. So it's not so great. We've got a lot of these ones, Avengers, around about issue 90 or so, 91. I don't know why I picked up so many of these, but they were good stories. The Doctor Strange especially. And of course it had Masters of Kung Fu, Shang-Chi, really good, or however he's supposed to be called now. Oh, this one as well. Hulk battles the Inheritor. I don't even know what that is. A cover patch. We had the oddest of things. Special offer, £1 only. I wonder how many people bought them. I expect lots of people did. Another Conan Treasury Edition. That's where they advertised Treasury Editions. You had them on the back there. Which always made me feel that it was really a more UK-based thing. Normally, they didn't advertise on the back any of the... I mean, that was the thing that's really odd when you actually think about it. They never advertised the American comics. You never on the back page sort of load adverts showing, all the latest issues that were coming out in the shops. But then they did, the Treasury one. So I always felt that was a UK thing. Of course it wasn't, but of course you can see the price there, 50p. Now on sale. But again, you've got these great little stories, and again, very, very... Oh, that was my favourite one, Doctor Strange. Good old The Shadow of Innsmouth. I always called it that, even though it probably wasn't. The Mark of Sligoth. It was, to me, it was a H.P. Lovecraft story, and I always said R.E. Howard, which probably was. But it always just felt to me that sort of Arkham, sort of Dunwich horror sort of stuff, which I love. Avengers, issue 1. This is falling to pieces. And it's actually got an advert for something on the back. Let's have a look. Cresta. Oh, yeah, it's got Cresta Bear. Actually, because recently they've just stopped Lilt. Not that I've been drinking Lilt for ages, but I remember Cresta Bear. Do they sell that anymore? I don't know. Now, this one actually had the first, obviously, Doctor Strange. Classic Doctor Strange there. I don't know who these characters are. They never explain those characters. Maybe they should have sort of brought those characters back. Maybe they turned up again. But of course, you've got the classic issue 4 there of A Strange Story. And I always love the fact they always put along top, Submariner finds an army. I think we can work that out, but still, it's pretty good. But they actually told you, attack of the Submariner, the starship on the sea bottom. So you knew exactly what was happening for the rest of the page. What was the point of that anyway? Still, Planet of the Apes. And recently I've been picking up a few of these because I've been reading I've read one, I should say, the archive editions. That's on the Kindle, which has been very good. But I thought, I must pick up a few of these ones as well. And this one was quite interesting because they had this one, The Kingdom of the Island of the Apes, which I, reading all the history, it had in the archive, it had sort of really good run through of all the various storyline and what could have happened, what they would have done later on. It's so sad that the licensing, whatever, all just, that was it. Hold on. Now this is issue 32. This gun says you're wrong, Ape Face. I'm not saying they would do that nowadays, say that sort of thing. That just seems a bit... Yeah, that was the superhero. That was good, maybe. Actually, I like that one. That was really quite good. That had X-Men. I don't know if that was the first. That was the first of the X-Men, I think. I might be wrong on that. Someone will probably correct me on that. But of course, it also had Silver Surfer and Galactus, of course. But I love these ones. They always had these articles as well, which are always good. I always thoroughly enjoyed reading those articles because, of course, you just didn't have that sort of information. I mean, I think Starburst maybe was out by that time. I can't remember. Oh, also had this story, Gil Kane. I love Gil Kane, the work. Absolutely brilliant. This one, will you make a Marvel Super Joker? No idea. But still, The Power of Warlock. I think that was in the cover, I think. But still, it was the cover. I'm certain of Marvel Premiere, I think. Rodan and the Hounds of Helios. Whatever that was. But still, Roy Thomas, Gil Kane. And even time, I love Gil Kane's work. I just thought it was the best. Really brilliant panels all the way through. Of course, he's got his old gem there, which went on to slightly greater and more appearances in certain films. Planet of the Apes, Kingdom of the... I thought it was really quite... I love the bit where it starts. And it was just great. And I didn't think about it at the time. I must admit, I probably didn't even notice the fact that the joke in it... Well, not really much of a joke, but it was the fact that he, of course, built a time machine on the 5th floor. And you think, yeah, maybe that wasn't such a good idea. But trouble is, of course, even if he hadn't built it on the 5th floor, and actually probably wouldn't have been an issue in reality, because if you like with Rome, where the layers of dirt, in a sense, it might have actually been the right level. How would you know in a time machine? You have to build a time machine so it would actually work out where the land was. Otherwise, you would have a problem because suddenly you're 50 feet up or you're 50 feet under the ground, which would not be not very good for you either. But he's got his time machine there. And that's the problem, of course, with the time machine film, where, of course, he goes through all the various changes. What happens if someone builds whatever? I know there's all the lava goes around and he still goes through and all that sort of stuff. But there's always sort of things in... Okay, I'm not certain that would work, but anyway, still, it's a good idea. I suppose you'd actually have to take breathing equipment. Maybe that would be the way around. And some way of getting out of the thing if you've got something got caught somewhere. But look at this. That's just me working out another film for... I think that would be... Actually, that would have been a great film if they'd done that one as a film. Escape from the Planet of the Apes. I love that one as well. Escape from the Planet of the Apes. That was a good film. I know it's not everyone's favourite. Beneath is probably my favourite, I think, of all the films. I always enjoy that one. But Escape's always good as well. And old Captain Marvel. Good old Captain Marvel. And Apes Extravaganza. I love the series as well. That was Gallen, obviously, Vernon Burke. all the various characters. I don't know what it says. Official Apes TV photographs in full colour. 90 pence, 40 pence. I must have both items at a bargain price. Plain clothes, £1.15. Look, I didn't. But still, Spider-Man Comics Weekly. This is issue 3. I recently picked up a few of these and I thought, I wish I'd bought more actually, but there was a pile of them and I thought, oh, you can only have so many. But they're great. I always loved the fact that they had it in black and white and then they had it in colour. That was always good. And also I picked this up at the same time. And normally these go for ridiculous amounts of money and it was £1. So I thought, well, why not? For £1, I will love that. Spider-Man, of course, and the first story of Thor. I always loved old Jameson there. More pictures? What kind? Oh, action shots of Electro fighting Spider-Man. They're the real thing. Good stuff. Of course they are. Did he fake them up on Photoshop or something? He might have done, I suppose. He might have had some actors and just done it that way. That would be good. Thor the Mighty. I love that. Thor the Mighty. Not the Mighty Thor, but Thor the Mighty. I wonder why they didn't go with that in the end. But they didn't obviously change it because they went for Mighty Thor instead. Without slightest hesitation. And I always love that bit where he falls to the puny earth. And I always think, would it be a real pain if you actually fallen to earth and then smashed into it? Everyone, all the rest of the people, why do we do that every time? The power of Thor. I can lift it as if it was cardboard. And suddenly he loses his power and that hurts. Nothing can stop me. And I always feel sorry for that tree. That tree, I mean, look at that. He goes and bashes through that tree. Did he need to do that? No. He could have chosen a rock. No, I'm going to choose that tree that's sort of sitting there, perfectly minding its own business. And then he transforms. And of course, there's a fleet of the god of thunder. Now, the thing is, when he hits that, of course, he might not have transformed again. That would have been, oh dear, it only happens once. It's notes on this thing. So this only happens once. Oops. Still, you got the Ringmaster and the Clown and his Masters of Menace. Thor was one of my favourites. I love this one, issue 16. And the artwork is really odd. I can't remember, who was the artist? Was it Heck? It was Heck, wasn't it? It certainly was. Yes, illustrated by Don. I really appreciate that Don Heck's artwork now. At the time, I must admit, I thought, oh, so Don Heck's artwork was always sort of slightly rougher and a bit sort of, but I really do like this, I must admit. And I always love the old Odin there. Odin looks so different from later, which is always a bit odd. You think, well, hang on, he's been going for millions of years before that. So why does he, well, maybe decide, after millions of years, I'm going to change my style. I'm going to be even more grumpy or whatever it is. Oh, and I love that. Look at that colour. I don't think they actually did that too often. Sort of a mix of colours. It was a tritone. That's very strange. Normally it's not. But that's still. And it was just great, the Cobra. Though I always think they should have gone with green, would have been more sensible, being, I don't know, maybe not. Since that's the colour of his costume on the front cover, you would suggest green would have been a more interesting choice than red, but they always went with red there. The Mighty World of Marvel 80, time to unmask starring Daredevil. And of course, Leader turns up. This also includes a complete story, which was not that common, I don't think. I can't remember, obviously, other than in the Titans one. But you got here, No More Monster. And it's quite a sad little story because, of course, again, Banner becomes Banner, or I should say the Hulk becomes Banner, and the Leader, of course, messes it up for him. But still, I love an advert for, I'm just quickly rushing through it, a TV set. And I was quite shocked, £230 for a TV set. I'm no wonder people went rental, because that sounds a lot of money. I mean, how much would that translate to now? That would be like ridiculous amount of money. Brilliant bit of Hollywood there, and Bob Powell. And also, on the back, you got these posters. I wonder how many people went for these. A fistful of posters for you. And they were 90 pence each. I think that would have been quite nice, and they're quite a decent size as well. 22-inch, 16.5. They changed the format again. The paper's just slightly different, but it's still really good. And of course, this one's got MODOK instead of the Leader this time. And you've got, and I love the fact they include. Quite often I would draw all those. I was always room, but they always had letter pages. I never sent up a letter. Wish I had actually, but of course it's got the Barry Windsor Smith story here, which is really good. And also it's got here the Fantastic Four. War with the Wingless Wizard. I never understood why they always had to mess around with this. Why didn't they just use the front cover? Instead, they put a page like that. Just seemed to make no sense whatsoever. But this one's even slightly odd because it's actually got a Ditko story here. Stan Lee Presents. They couldn't put Ditko Presents, but Stan Lee Presents. Well, obviously it was done by Stan Lee and Ditko as well. But of course, it's just a masterpiece Ditko, as ever. But they always follow us. You are not human. And of course the twist is, there's a twist. There always is. But it was unusual. It didn't include many of those sort of tales of suspense or tales to astonish or amazing fantasy ones. Those sort of, or amazing adult fantasy, as I think it was called. And this is issue 1. Mighty World of Marvel, 5p. And I love this one. Still got it, falling to pieces, absolutely tatty. We'll never get, also include the first issue as well. Obviously there, the symbolic scene, you flip over, Fantastic Four battles, the oh man. And you've got a watch as well. Remember that watch? I didn't buy that watch, but it's just the soccer watch with your crest and colours of your favourite club. I mean, that'd be something, I suppose. They didn't have that for me. Maidstone United. I love the way. I think even at the time I probably thought, yeah, but they haven't included Maidstone United. I'm certain Maidstone that you've got all these teams. If your team's not there, of course you haven't got a chance, have you? And that was £5.25. I guess that was nice if you like were a fan of Chelsea or something. Oh, Chelsea isn't there. What did Man City? Yes, Man City's in there. Also, I snipped out this. That ruins the issue, doesn't it? The mystery gift for you. We got a really mystery. Congratulations, you've entered the Mighty Marvel Age of Comics. The excitement is just beginning. And it was true. It was definitely. You even had a message from Stan Lee. And of course, you've got the classic green this time. It's actually weird. Sometimes they're green, sometimes maybe just the ink at the time. Just weird they always did that. But obviously, some pages you had in just, you got green again instead of red. You would think they would have gone blue for the Fantastic Four, green for their. Maybe that was too complicated. I don't know. But of course, it's got the classic. Now, of course, this was the full story for Spidey, because it was, of course, one complete story in Amazing Fantasy. Now, the thing is, it didn't matter with this one. Also, the Hulk, of course, it did matter as well, because, of course, the Hulk, it's sort of, you've got obviously someone knocking on the door there. Because I think that wasn't the complete story, obviously, of Hulk issue 1. But still, that is the Mighty World of Marvel. I love that issue. And, of course, you've got some lovely on the back going off there. A certain line, a famous line. There must also come great responsibilities. How many times do I hear? I always think every time I hear that on the radio, and quite often they turn around and say, there's always a politician that always wheels that one out. And I think, with great power, there must also come great responsibility. I'm thinking, oh, Stan Lee puts that in there. A summer special. I'm a mega fan of summer specials. In fact, I pick up summer specials all the time. Whenever I see one, I think, oh, that's a summer special. Might even be for comics that I don't even like. I'm not a keen fan of. I mean, I'm not a mega fan of Lion or Valiant particularly, but still, I just bought the summer specials from. They were just something, they were always great. I picked up loads of them. I had the Dandy Beano ones, anything that was summer special. They were always just great. When you went on holiday, you had piles of them. I had piles of them. And this one's epic. The Lion summer special, quite an old one actually. This was about 1960, probably 66, I would imagine. It's got Thunderbird. Unfortunately, it's not a Thunderbird story. It's got actually just some pictures of Thunderbird, which would have been, of course, no. But it's also got Bonanza as well, so it's not just films. But you've got some of the films here. Some of them, I must admit, I have no idea. Run of the Arrow. I'm not saying that's a film or not. But you've got Tobruk, and you've also got Batman on the back, and also other ones as well. And this one's The Four Feathers. Now, I have seen that one, The Classic Story of a Man Who Conquered Fear. And the latest and greatest Bond. You Only Live Twice. Sean Connery as James Bond. Great little. Now again, that would have been nice if they'd included the story there, but of course they didn't. Oh, we've got Quo Vadis. I think that was the reason I bought it. I love anything related to Roman ones, so there's a lovely Quo Vadis. Pretty decent. So that's that. Lion, and I bought that one for £5 or £4, something like that, at a book fair. One of the sort of odd places. Don't see that many comics at book fairs. For some weird reason, someone had one of this, and I thought, oh, great, I'll have that. Yeah, Lion and Thunder. I don't think I actually bought Lion and Thunder that much. Occasionally. Of course, you've got the Steel Commando on the front cover there, and many others. Now, sometimes the artwork always looked a bit odd. They had great stories, but the artist was always quite different from the ones at Black Max. Now, probably some of these have been collected. I don't know. Black Max one, I'm quite certain it has been collected. There's Volume 1 and Volume 2 out, of course, from Treasury of British Comics. Roman Legions, another reason, of course, to get this. Now, I wonder if they've collected those. Now, that would be a great collection. I'd buy that. Jim from Jupiter. And other stories as well. The Lion Street Lot. Not familiar with that one. But Adam Eterno, of course, that's been collected. There's one volume so far. I don't think there's two. Yeah. Hopefully at some point there will be. Or maybe that, oh, and Captain Condor. Now, there is a collection of that from Hibernia, I think, has got a series of Captain Condor. Very unusual. So that must be quite an old one, actually. Well, I don't know. Who knows? But still, that is Lion and Thunder. Valiant Summer Special. Now, maybe sometimes they did do that. Maybe they reprinted them. I don't know. Anyone who obviously follows that comic will probably say, oh, that's been put in before, or that came from another issue. Valiant Summer Special. And unfortunately, one thing they never did, which is slightly annoying, they never ever put the date on it. So you could sort of, now when you go through these, you think, is this the 77 issue? Is this the 76 issue? And sometimes you actually have to really look hard to find any information about the date. And obviously you can work out 3 shillings there, that it's probably 1970 or before. Captain Hurricane, you've got obviously Captain Hurricane there. But quite often, maybe at the back, no, not even at the back. Oh, IPC, no, absolutely, they never included that. They must have done the sort of all the information about the dates and things for copyright purposes. It just seems odd. Wild Wonders, you've got here College Cowboy, and many others. You've got here Operation Tiger, and of course you had photos as well. The Commonwealth Games. Commonwealth Games. Now I must Ron Hill. Oh, the name's familiar, but I must admit, someone said around and said, which one's Ron Hill? I'd go, no idea. But the name is familiar. Valiant Summer Special. Again, this one obviously must be later because, of course, it's 25 pence. And you've got the Commando there still. And you've got, let's just turn the page there. They never put an index or contents or anything like that. It would have been really nice. Sergeant Strong. You've got Sergeant Strong in this one. Again, I don't know if the artist was the same or the work was the same. Sport a Smile. So you had the comedy bit there, Steel Commando, Mickey the Mimic, and many others. The great little stories. And also the crosswords and things. Again, one of those ones that I would quite often with a small rotary wing aircraft. Doesn't say any letters, unfortunately, but I think I can guess that one. There's another one here. Oh, gold, pure gold. You can guess what story that one is. Adam Eterno again. Good old Adam Eterno. And the Daredevils. No relation to Daredevil. Another Valiant one. This is obviously again was 20 pence. So it was, again, no date on it. It's so annoying that they never included dates. Why? I don't know. Just makes no sense. But still great artwork all the way through. The Dream Wave. I guess it didn't matter. Back then you would just pick it up, and that was the thing. I guess you'd go along to some of the ones at the seaside or something. They might have been about 4 or 5 years ago. Oh, what's this one? Got a hit story here. It's just, I remember that one. Oh, crumbs. They were quite often long, the Wild Wonders. Who's it? Who is it, I should say. If you have to guess, I wouldn't have known. I must admit, I had no idea. Raven on the Wing, and also many other stories as well. Oh, I love that one. That's good. The Scorpions there. Another Valiant stranger, but 2 and 6. So you can see quite a few Valiants I picked up. Most of these are things I picked up at markets, my local market. They often have piles of these ones. They're normally like £1 or something, and you can get a reasonable sort of. So I've got a small selection of these ones. And let's see what's in this one. Again, now the artwork does look very odd, this one. Kelly's Eye. Now, I'm certain that artwork is not the standard artist for the Eye of Zoltek. It's fantastico. He's still alive. And who's this one? Obviously, I think that's the Raven on the Wing again. Oh, we actually had just a written story, another one. Sporty. This one, Blue Bottle and Basher. And so on. So some great little stories there. Master Spy on the back. The Schoolboy Secret Agent. No less. Oh, there's another one here. What's this story here? It's quickly. Sometimes the stories are quite long, actually. I mean, about 8 or 9 pages, which was quite long, especially when you get the ones in the UK comics, will often be about 3 pages. But here, you had Return of the Monsters, was a full-on story, which is pretty good. Now, this one's a more recent one. Battle Britain Special, of course, Treasury of British Comics. And you've got some actually quite good stories, actually. Very good artwork all the way through this one. You can see the list of all the great names there. Garth, I should say, Ennis, Sniper Elite, the Vulture, Sniper Elite, there you can see, and many more stories. Death Squad, see Death Squad preview page, so that's that. That came out fairly. Again, why? I think they should put the date. It just seems to me, I mean, it just seems to make no sense. And I bet you if I search for it, I'm certain it's in here somewhere. It must be. It would be really weird if they did not include the date. 2020. At least they do include the copyright information there. Misty and Scream. Lovely one as well. Black Beth. That was good. Black Beth story there. And you've got also this story here. The Aegis. Or Aegis. Aegis, even. Tammy and Ginty, of course, good old Tammy and Ginty. And you've got some stories from that, a retro strip. I always have it called retro strip. Just an old strip, but it's retro strip. Originally published Ginty 1975. And you've got there, good old Ginty there. And also Cat's Whiskers. Sally. I'm surprised they've never done, well, they have done Catgirl one. That more collections from Sally and all those sort of comics haven't been done. And that was brilliant. I love that one, Sugar Jones one. That was really good. Now, I don't know how many stories of Sugar Jones, because they just suddenly stopped. And I think it was just the best of, so not everything was included. Now, this one's an unusual one. And apparently there was lots of these, because when I was up in London at Gosh, they had a pile of these sort of comics, the big comic fortnight holiday special. There was quite a lot of these big ones, and which I had never seen before. But again, I picked this up at my local local market, and you got Toy Boy. I was going to say Oh Boy, but it was Toy Boy and Teacher's Pet. But unfortunately, he never dated them. These obviously were old stories. These were all stories from back in the day. But it would have been nice. I know it's not designed for particularly collectors or anything, but it would have been nice if it put down the bottom. This was originally presented, because Marvel Comics always did that. This was originally presented in 1967 or 1968. And Sid's fun page. It's like Sid Snake, of course. Great little stories all the same. Now, this is an unusual. Again, I'll pick up all sorts of things. Playland Holiday Special. Pippin Special. That's some actually quite decent artwork. It's Sir Prancelot and Toy Town and whatever. I vaguely remember reading this Playland back in the day. I think Play Hour? Wasn't there Play Hour? There's loads of them. Loads of these ones. This one's a Pippin Special, apparently. Don't forget, all your favourite TV characters are in Pippin. Ah, Rupert there, obviously, and various other characters. That character there, of course. And Whizzer and Chips Holiday Special. I loved Whiz and Chips. That's probably my favourite one. Whiz and Chips was always good. Night School and many, many others. Billy Bins. Again, they often have some quite long stories, which was quite good, because normally, of course, the stories were a lot shorter in the actual. Why, Dad? Why? But always good artwork all the way. So, oh, it's another one. Now that one looks slightly unusual. Whenever you see ones that look slightly odd, you always think of these Billy Bins. Maybe they, I don't know. Just it looks slightly blurry. It's been printed or something from somewhere other source or something. Just odd. And likewise, this one here is very strange. Blackwood Boys. Sometimes they look a bit out of place from the normal story. I can't remember which the titles that were included in Whiz and Chips, even though I did buy Whiz and Chips a lot. So I remember that one, of course. Sid Snake. I always loved that story. Girl, Sid Snake. And the Beezer. Didn't buy Beezer that much. So how did Pop get into this fix? I've no idea. I suppose we have to quickly read the magazine. And we've got Colonel Blink, the short-sighted, I can't, Young Sid, and many other stories. The Copper's Kid. What other ones do they have included here? Something Lads there, and Little Mo and Ginger. Of course, he was the famous. I think Ginger was the big star, wasn't he, of Beezer? I assume he was anyway. Plug. I think Plug also. I remember Plug there. The Banana Bunch. And a few other characters as well. I think we've got here the numbskulls on the back. Hungry Hoss. Oh, it's Pop, Dick, and Harry. I was wondering what their names were. But you of course you always have to have that sort of ending, don't you? But these Beezer ones because you always ended up this sort of folded over. Quite a lot of holiday specials with this sort of size format. They weren't all this size format. I always recall them being more this size format. I mean, obviously later on they were, but this one, I don't know when this was. Oh, it's 40p, so obviously it was in the 70s. But quite often they were this type of size, and you would often sort of bend them over like that. Of course, roll them and stuff them in your pocket kind of thing. But still, they're actually great summer specials. Always wonderful to pick up. And I don't have a vast number, and over the years I've had quite a few and obviously given them away, or they just fall to pieces in most cases. Anyway, I hope you've found this of interest. I have got a pile of other comics to go through in part 2. I've got the Creepies, Eries and all those sort of ones to go through. I thought, well, it's good. Otherwise I'd be rambling on for another 2 hours going through every single one of these comics. And also got a pile of other ones like Look and Learns and those sort of ones as well. Well, I hope you found this of interest. Any questions about all these books? Which ones did you buy? Did you buy any of the Fantastic Strifics? All the Power comics, did you buy those? Also, any of the summer specials, did you buy summer specials as well? I was always buying them or just reading them in the news. Quite often I'd just sit there and read them in the newspaper. I thought, but before, of course, at some point the owner would turn around and say, "Oh, buy the comic." No, I've read it now. Why would I buy it? Anyway, but I did love doing that. But other than that, also, did you get the Avengers, Mighty World of Marvel, Spider-Man? Did you get the Titan ones? Did you like that format of the Titans and Spider-Man and Titans and whatever it was, all the various formats? And then, of course, it changed. I didn't buy so many after that. I think I was buying more US ones, but there was also like that Future Tense one. There was lots of other formats that came along that I really just did not buy. It'd be great to know what's your opinion about all these UK comics. It would be nice to see, of course, many more UK comics again. There are still some in shops, but not that many, which is always a pity. Anyway, bye.